Ross Chastain used the wall all the way around this racetrack. Logano has been the class of the field.
Check out the big brain on Brad.
Yeah, I need to change my underwear.
With Denny Hamlin locking himself into the round or the championship round, he'll be one of the 4 as we head to Phoenix. Brian, freshly back from Las Vegas, and
literally, yes,
literally hop out the car, right into the seat, push record. Let's get this party started.
That's right.
Vegas is behind us. Talladega, Martinsville, championship season done. Crazy. Brian,
bittersweet part of the season for sure.
Yeah, like the grind of like just all the stuff we do it's nice to have it kind of take a little bit of a pause, but we get that itch pretty quick and want to get back to grinding. So you got to see your boy win in person. You said it from the jump. Denny Hamlin was going to win.
Didn't feel great after practice.
It didn't feel great, but he also put it on the pole.
Yep.
Didn't feel great at a couple points in the race. That was leading. And I think you even texted me during the race that he was going to win. And then he got caught up in a wreck.
So what happened was he had stayed out long. And at that point, they had made the correct adjustments that it looked like to me, even at that moment, that he had the best car over the long run, which was why he was able to stay out. And he was actually kind of keeping pace with the guys who had already pitted, and they weren't really making up a lot of ground. And had everything just gone green from there, I'm still convinced he would have wound up winning the race. But what wound up happening was he had a slow stop. It was like a 12 or 13 second stop that kind of put him well behind where he should have cycled out. And then I don't even know what the hell to call it, like disaster occurred with William Byron.
So Byron, like the broadcast was talking about, these guys are on edge. They're sketchy as hell. And he gets wiggly in the corner and he saves it and he's fine. And he's like, I'm second, cruising around, no problem. Couple laps later. What was it, like less than 2 laps later?
Yeah, it was less than, I think it was the next it was the next time
corner
coming out of 4, yeah.
And Ty Dillon is just like his head so far up his own ass. And
I know there's been a lot of discourse as to whose fault it was or what happened. Likely, I don't want to even call it a miscommunication, because from everything that I've heard of the numerous sides of things while in the media center, all the podcasts afterwards, it doesn't sound like it was communicated at all that he was pitting. And so the fact that he was running a lane higher than where everyone else was during the race when they were coming down pit road tells me that the blame falls 100% on the 10 car. Because when you go back and you listen to Byron's radio, they literally tell him, okay, the 10 is running lanes 2 and 3 in 3 and 4. So go to the bottom. They're telling him to go to the bottom because there's no indication that he's coming down pit road. Dillon's running like a lane and a half high. And then all of a sudden he decides to turn left.
And it's one thing if you're like going to run long and come in and pit later so you can try and get better track position, hoping something weird happens. But you need to communicate that to the cars behind you. And I know you're in 38th place.
I was just going to say, and he's already he's not racing for anything at that moment either.
I just imagine if that was Carson Hocevar, Bubba Wallace, Catherine Legg.
Oh my! If that was Catherine Legg or Carson Hocevar, it would. I mean, especially if that was Catherine Legg, you would have people calling for her to be kicked out of the sport. Like you are never allowed to race in the Cup Series again, type of stuff.
Yeah, I still don't know why we're having these jabronis race, but that's another story. But yeah, so Byron's day is completely shot.
And he was strong too.
Mm-hmm. And our guy, when Logano and Briscoe stayed out, I was like, oh baby, here we go. This is exactly why I bet Logano to win.
And what was even crazier about that whole sequence was the fact that they got the caution that they needed to allow their tires to cool down, to extend the life of their 2-tire call. And when that happened, I we were chatting in the media center. I just said, this is ridiculous. Like Joey Logano, that team, they always seem to hit the jackpot on their strategy calls.
Yeah, but Larson was too fast. Obviously, Denny was too fast, and Chris Bell was too fast. And I think ultimately the best cars got to the front. And if this was a race where like some of the Hendrick guys didn't show up as well or something, maybe Logano could have made it stick if he was battling maybe one guy. Maybe a couple of their cars stayed out to create more of a buffer between 4 tire stops. But Briscoe passed him right away, and I thought maybe Briscoe was going to do it. And there was even points in the early part of the race where I thought, oh, Briscoe, here we go.
Well, we talked about it when we did the DFS lineup. Like, we know how strong the 19 is if they are out front in clean air. And sure enough, right off the bat, he cleared Denny, and he led the majority of the first stint of the first stage. And that was no surprise.
Yeah. So Denny's going to Phoenix. He's got a shot. We'll see this week if anybody, the playoff drivers, join him, or if it's a non-playoff driver. And then we're headed to Martinsville with Chase and Logano and all these guys needing to lock themselves in. We'll take a look at the odds here in a sec just to see if there's any value. It doesn't seem like they're as aggressive to move the lines yet. We'll see how it feels after this week, but I mean, we got some discussing to do, but let's finish up our Vegas conversation. I'll bring up the screen here while you're here. If you're new here, if you've been here for a while, go ahead and smash that like button. Click subscribe if you yet to do that. Trying to grow our follower counts and make sure you guys get the content as soon as it comes out. Helps us tremendously. Denny, so despite starting on the pole and winning the race, from a DraftKings perspective, a little underwhelming, just because he only led 9 laps. He only had 25 fastest laps. Like, it was almost 60 points, but for 11K, that feels like Riley Herbst obviously started 33rd, finished 17th, but scored 42 points at fraction of the cost.
Yeah, I think what really got Denny was the fact that he only led the 9 laps, which were on the back end of that long green flag cycle in stage 3 and the last 3 laps of the race. So you really got bit in the ass right there, and it probably would have paid off to even not have Denny, more so because a guy like Larson or Byron probably had many more fastest laps, and well, maybe not Byron because of where he finished, but Larson especially, fastest laps led.
Yeah. Bubba and Ross were insanely frustrating. And there was probably some other factors that got involved, but especially Ross and Wormy, you said it best when he was talking in the pre-race poll. This is a guy that can go win the race, or he could be a guy that, despite looking awesome, is running 22nd, and we just don't really see him all day. And that's kind of where he was.
Yeah, Ross Chastain was the most frustrating car of the race. He looked like he had a rocket ship in practice. I was saying it was the same car they brought from Charlotte, and I didn't expect any of the repairs that they had to do to affect the car, and that was simply wrong.
Yeah. Let's see what else we did. This was our best lineup. This was our Larson. Yes, you look at Larson.
There you go. He almost doubled up Denny in points.
Yeah, 129 laps led, 35 fastest laps, finishes second. Bell was basically the same. He was a little more expensive, but didn't lead any laps, but finished third, started third, 17 fastest laps. Chastain again, Daniel Suarez, Noah Gragson.
Hold on.
Okay.
One caveat on Chastain is Chastain was sent to the rear, and playing him in DFS became not good. It just we didn't make the adjustment here. And anytime somebody
switch that.
Yeah, anytime somebody has like a mid pack or higher starting position and they get sent to the rear of a field, you almost essentially cannot play them anymore, because it doesn't matter even if they're able to make it to the front. By the time they do that, they're either it's going to be at the very end of the race and you're going to luck into that type of finish, or what happened to Chastain is going to happen and they're going to get stuck in traffic. Their car actually sucks and you're not going to get anything out of them.
Yeah. Speaking of this lineup, there's a couple parts of silly season that are starting to move with Justin Haley out at Spire and potentially mi amigo having a new seat for 2026.
I mean, that's kind of been the scuttlebutt, is that Spire would be looking at Suarez, and it makes sense. He's a Chevy driver. He brings plenty of sponsors to the sport. He brings sponsors that nobody else in the sport can bring because he's the only, Mexican national. And honestly, I think you need a guy like Daniel in the sport. He's a competitive guy. He's been competitive in terms of, good finishing results and potentially winning races and all that type of stuff. So I hate it for Justin Haley because he's always been somebody that we've kind of talked up on this show. And I think a lot of people saw a lot of potential, but it never seemed from the start that this was a good fit in the 7.
Yeah, no. Let's get Cody Ware out of NASCAR and get Justin Haley back in the RWR car.
I don't disagree with that one bit.
But shouts to Noah for having a solid finish. And it's been a rough season for him, but for him to have a nice finish, especially at home, is a good sign. And then our Bell Logano, Busher. We'll talk about the betting card here, but Busher not getting that top 10 was a swift kick in the junk. And Austin Cindric. I never feel good about playing him. I can never get him right. But we did put him in this lineup, and he was good. Josh Berry, no. Zane Smith, no. So, fine week on DraftKings. Not the fun we had last week for sure, but it's okay.
On the Chris Buescher thing, not just the top 10, but the top Ford play on him felt incredible.
He was like 6th or 7th, like the only Ford within range.
Yeah, he was the only guy. However, I will say, by watching the lap times, it did look like Ryan Preece had a better car and had the best Ford on the day. Yeah. I mean, he was running 0.2 faster than the majority of the field and equaled lap times to the leaders at mid to later stages of runs. And had Preece started with the same type of track position that Buescher did, he's probably also a top 5 contender on the day.
Yeah. Yeah. If Dylan doesn't run into Byron, Buescher.
You mean Byron run into Dylan?
That's what I mean. If Buescher's a top 10 car, probably cashing top Ford. Yeah. And feeling a lot better about kind of everything, but weird shit happens in NASCAR.
I'm not gonna lie. Selfishly, I would rather cash a Hamlin outright ticket, especially since I've been on the Hamlin train since Kansas here at Vegas.
Porque lo nos dos. Why not both? You don't think
there was no way that both of them were going to cash after the wreck, after the sequence?
Oh, no. I'm saying if the wreck doesn't happen, Buescher's cashing and Denny's probably winning, right?
Yeah. So Denny does not win unless we get that second yellow where Ty Gibbs at the end.
Shouts to Ty Gibbs. Logano obviously doesn't win, but Logs beats average ass Chase Elliott. The Byron over Bell felt great for a lot of the race, even with Bell running good. Bowman over Chastain. Bowman, shouts to Bowman. He had a great day. Man. He had a great day. He was the.
Hendrick was impressive.
I love how we tried to bury him right before that. Are they dead? Do they? No, they show up at this track every single time. What are we doing?
Yep.
I think there's 2 commonalities with this track. Hendrick crushes it every single time, and Penske is just an abject disaster, even when Logano wins.
Yep.
Suarez obviously to get that top 10. Buescher should have got the top 10. And then Tyler Reddick, another guy that was really, really strong. Like, maybe not a true contender for the win, but he was right there all day, top 5.
Yeah, he was probably Tyler Reddick was what Chase Elliott usually is. He was like that 3rd through 8th type of car where he was just fast enough to hang with the leaders, but he wasn't necessarily going to win the race.
Yeah. So obviously you cashed Hamlin. You've said it from the jump. I didn't follow you because I'm a dum-dum. Wallace over Logano. I mean, I tried to warn you. I don't tell you.
Oh, I did that based on it. That was simply price based.
Oh, I know. And then yeah, so I'm still in the green. You obviously made a huge jump, so shouts to you. Let's get both of us in the green by the end of the season. Any other Vegas takeaways? Any other thoughts on Vegas before we talk Talladega and the championship odds?
80% of the race was
Ass.
follow the leader event. I just saw the results of the Jeff Gluck poll. I think it got like 77% yes, which is kind of around where I kind of thought it would finish. I think a lot of the yes came from the narrative around Denny's win and the significance of it. I mean, there was a large pot full of things that went into this victory for Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, and I feel like with Gluck polls specifically is they tend to do much better when stage 3 is action packed, even if the race overall isn't great. If there's fun stuff at the end, if there's a pass for the lead, if there's crazy stuff that happens, if you're a Byron fan, obviously you didn't like the end of the race. If you're a Blaney fan, he was sitting in this trailer by the time the race ended. But for the most part, there was action, there was passing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of I don't know, not a great race.
I mean, quite honestly, though, that's kind of what Vegas is, because Vegas is, and I made a mistake in this aspect of weighing the new tires a little bit too heavily into the way that I handicapped this race, because this played out like every other Vegas event where it's about your top end speed and your ability to just optimize your lap times. And that's what played out again. And also too, for some damn reason, I know we say this at every track, but in Vegas particularly, it really plays out this way. The guy who is in the lead here, it just seems to have an extra 10th or two easily on the rest of the field or anybody that's running in traffic.
Yeah, death taxes and Hendrick domination. Let's talk Dega. So obviously, super speedway, crazy stuff's gonna happen.
Is it?
Well, I still say yes. Maybe it doesn't happen all day, but it's gonna happen. Although was it the first Talladega this year that was like super calm and collected, and we thought it was gonna be crazy and didn't really?
Yeah, and it finished green, I believe.
Yeah. So I don't know. There was.
There's a lot more riding on this race than there was on that one.
It'll probably depend on who's up there and who has a chance. Joey Logano will find a way to wreck in this race because that's what he does. But we'll run through the odds. I have 2 names that I'm gonna make sure I include in my card this week, and then probably log out. Blaney, look, I know you're not betting shit. I get it. I wouldn't fault anybody who completely avoids this race. Logano 950 or Blaney 950, Logano 10, Byron 10, Cindric 12, Chase 12, Keselowski 18, Kyle Larson 18, Kyle Busch 20, Bubba 20. That's 20 to 1 inch shorter. As always, shop those numbers. I'm going to pull up the book that I think has the best numbers, as I will be betting both Chase Elliott.
As Kyle finds that, let me just go back to the spring Dega race. The only cautions for cause came in stage 1. And then we ran the rest of the race green. So
yeah, I feel like we're due, though. I feel like that means we're going to get a bonkers batshit race, and I'll be very mad that I got invested at all. But Todd Furman always sends out the tweet after this. People actually lay their money down on this race, and it's very, very dumb. But Chase Elliott and William Byron, both at 14 to 1, are gonna headline my betting card. HMS, Brian's been saying it for years. I mean, obviously Chase got the win at Kansas on kind of a weird finish, but they went on drafting tracks. That's kind of it. So I'm banking. My honest belief is that the NASCAR gods are going to fix it for William Byron after the stupid ending to Vegas where he probably should have won. And get him the win here.
Look, I can't fault anybody betting anybody this week. I do think that, contrary to what a lot of people would be saying or are saying right now, that this is a must-win scenario for the guys below the cut line, I don't think that's the case at all. Because if in stage 1 the Chevys mess up their pitting and they get off cycle and say they don't connect coming off of pit road, kind of like, or they wreck, similarly to what we've seen the Toyotas do in recent memory, then guys like in the Ford camp in particular, Joey and Blaney, they could essentially just finish 1 and 2 in stages 1 and 2 and make up a ton of ground if, the other guys are not running as well. Because we know Denny is coming here with an out of sight, out of mind mentality for Talladega. He even said it on his podcast. I listened while driving home today. He's going to be there in body, but not mentally. Like, he's going to be in Phoenix mentally and simply having fun going for a race win here at Talladega. So, and also too on Denny, this works out perfectly for the guy who is now more about just being safe at super speedways than going for wins. So I don't know what to expect from him. And that removes one of the best, if not the best, drafting Toyota driver. So
yeah. And then Larson obviously stinks here. I think
Larson has improved at super speedways. It's just at the end of races.
He's still not the same as everybody else. Like, I know he's gotten better, but
he's not wrecking though. That's the thing that I've noticed with Larson is he's improved his ability to stay out of the issues during the race, and he just still doesn't necessarily have the super speedway gene to know like when to make his move towards the end of the race.
Yeah, he's the opposite of Logano, who is a dominant factor for 99.9% of the race and then ends up trashed. I would not bet Logano or Blaney.
Oh, I would. I think you're probably going to see the Fords qualify on the pole. This is kind of what we've become accustomed to. I think you're going to see all 4 Penske guys within the top 4 rows max. Like, top 8 is going to be at worst for these guys. And they're just going to go out there and they're going to throttle the field early because Blaney and Logano are just going to try to go for those stage points to begin the race.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you believe in them, I'd rather we'll look at those odds here in a second, but Logano, especially championship futures, is where I would get invested. But that's me.
Oh, there is a championship future that I added that, in my opinion, is way too long on FanDuel.
Color me entertained. I'm going to pull up FanDuel while we finish looking through this. I guess let's talk it through it this way. Do you have interest in a non-playoff driver winning this week at a track where carnage can happen? And if so, who's on your short list of guys that you think would be both interesting and the number associated with them is viable? Maybe you're not betting it personally, but you think makes some sense based on their upside and the number that they're offering.
I definitely think, considering that the race has moved back around and that there's only 8, or let's not count Denny. There's only 7 guys that are basically racing for the win, that need a win right now, compared to last year where this race was in the round of 12 and you had 12 guys, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has won this particular event recently, clearly not a playoff guy. So I definitely do think that the non-playoff drivers are in play this week. Obviously, I've been off them all year at actual racetracks, but I do think this is a week that if you want to get silly, Brad Keselowski and Kyle Busch, sure, why not? Both a couple of the elite super speedway racers in the sport. And if you subscribe to Win the Race, Ryan Stevens has been hearkening on this all season. Brad Keselowski is so due for a win at Talladega, it's not even funny.
Yeah. So did
And
we add
so,
it?
like,
But he's like, I mean, he's 18. Let's see what.
yeah, that's the thing. Like, I would rather play. I think Brad is similar in skill here to a Ryan Blaney or a Joey Logano. I think he should be priced up with them.
Fuck it.
Oh no.
Going down with the ship if we're if he wins, I want a piece of it. He's 18 at DK and at Caesar, so that seems good.
Yeah, see, those are the guys that I would rather bet. Now, some of the longer shots, I don't hate the Bubba call. I know
Briscoe? 22 for a playoff driver at a track we've seen him be good.
Look, you're not gonna. You can't convince me that any of these guys are not good. Well, let me restate that. None of these guys are good bets. None of the bets this week are good, but none of these bets are also horrible.
Yeah.
That, take that for what you will. I just don't think that
It's the lottery ticket 500.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
put your numbers down and hope it works out. I mean,
Now,
you could make a very viable case for betting Bell, Briscoe,
Reddick at 28 is fine.
Stenhouse.
See, I don't know if I'd play Stenhouse at 30.
No.
That's a little bit too far.
Brad K. Like throw 4 or 5 in a hat, put $10 on each, and hope you cash one of them.
Yeah, so that's funny you say that because that's actually I'm probably going to take $100, grab 5 or 6 guys, so that way I have something on the race and something to keep me entertained.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm going to fall asleep watching them just go around in circles and fuel save.
Yep.
I'm not touching placements either this week because the numbers are so short. They're unplayable.
No. I don't mind like top Ford, top Chevy, top Toyota.
You got to get a good price though.
Yeah, but top 10s matchups, and it's long shots. It's not like Brad K or Blaney to be top Ford. Any long shots? Ty Dillon flop lag?
No way. I mean, if you think about it, the longest shot we've seen win this race in recent history is Stenhouse, and that was like 40.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, I added Elliott, I added Byron, I added Brad. Are you adding any outrights this week? It's fine if you're not. I can get you numbers if you want anything better.
Yeah, I really don't think that there's anybody that I'm. The only one that I would be really. Hold on, I got to shop the price here. Carson Hocevar. I do think that Hocevar is intriguing to me this week. He might be part of my little, as our buddy Phil from Full Tank with Phil says, his shotgun unit on the super speedways.
I can get you 35 at DK.
Man, that's the best number.
It's the best number. At least that's what I can find.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Although he's been priced the same at like 1.5. So yeah, why not? I'll put that on the card just for fun. Carson Hocevar, DraftKings. Here we go. Wow, Kyle's going ham on these.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. I'm sure I'll get myself in the red by doing this, but I'm looking to have some fun. Yeah, even ESPN has them at 30, so 35 is pretty good. Yeah.
All right.
25 on Briscoe is interesting.
Let's talk champ futures.
Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, Chase Briscoe, Joey Logano, William Byron. As Brian mentioned, there's one name only that we both added. Mr. YRB is plus 850 at FanDuel. That's absolutely a bet.
Yeah, that number is $2 to $2.50 better than anywhere else available to the masses. He's 7 at Circa, which is the number that I got. Man, it's like 6 weeks ago now, and I went back and I doubled down on this FanDuel price and played 850. When you look at, I said this coming into the round, to me, Ryan Blaney was the number 1 seed in the round of 8 if you measured all the drivers' capabilities at all 3 tracks. And when you look at how good Blaney is at super speedways, you can say he's one of the best 3 guys there. When you look at Martinsville, the dude has won the last 2 fall Martinsville races. Denny Hamlin even said on Actions Detrimental, his recent episode, Ryan Blaney is the favorite at Martinsville, and he's not worried about Blaney yet about advancing to Phoenix as a result of that and his prowess at super speedways. And so despite him being the lowest below the cut line right now, what I said about them getting stage points early here at Talladega, they can easily make up some ground there. And then as long as he doesn't DNF, which is always a possibility, if he goes into Martinsville 10, 15 points below the cut line, I still feel comfortable that he's going to advance because he's probably going to put it up near the front row to start the race. And even if he doesn't, you sure as hell bet your ass he's going to be there at the end, which we've seen each of the last 2 times in the Gen 7 car. Like, there is nothing saying that Ryan Blaney isn't going to be a race-winning contender when we get to Martinsville in 2 weeks.
There's a non-zero chance that he wins this week, next week, and at Phoenix.
Exactly.
And he is basically your favorite or your co-favorite almost everywhere. He'll be your favorite or co-favorite next week.
He's going to open at a 4-1 favorite next week at Martinsville.
And if he's in the championship 4, he's going to be your favorite at Phoenix.
He was plus 250 ahead of Vegas to win the championship. Had he not DNF'd and just got a result there, he's probably 3-1 right now. Even with Hamlin winning.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's like everybody in the sport knows if Blaney gets to Phoenix, he's the favorite.
Yeah. Yep. Byron is workshopping this on Twitter. I like Byron to have when he gets to, even if he gets to Phoenix with a shot, I don't like him. Like, I'd rather bet Chase Elliott than William Byron, and that's something I never say ever.
Yeah,
and I think the fact that, I mean, obviously Byron crashed, but Elliott's somewhere between 6 and 8, where Byron's like 12, which is like,
the only thing I will say on Byron right now is if you like him, I don't mind playing the 12 number.
Oh yeah, if you like him, this is a great number because he was 8, and if he does well,
he hasn't finished outside the top 7 at Talladega in the last five races here.
And like I said, I'm betting him to win, so he could easily be in the Champ 4. So if you think you like him for Phoenix, and I don't know, man, like right now with all the guys that are in the Championship 8 or in the round of 8, I don't know that I necessarily would rank him very high. But with Denny locked in, if you get Byron in, and then the other 2 is like Chase Briscoe and Chase Elliott or Kyle Larson, like, he has a shot. Like, I wouldn't make him the favorite, but his number would be like 3.5 to 1, not 8 to 1. So if you like him, I think now's the time to get in.
I think everybody that's currently in the round of 8, excluding Hamlin, who's already locked in, I think of the remaining 7 guys, all of them have a legit shot to win the championship this year. Because as good as Christopher Bell has been in the past at Phoenix, he hasn't necessarily been the dominant car leading into this fall Phoenix trip that we've seen in recent years heading into this race. So I do think that has opened up the gap a little bit more. And I know that because they're going to be running the option tire is now the tire at Phoenix. And Bell even said it in the spring that he preferred that they stayed on the prime tire because he was comfortable in that. The option tire, he even said like he wasn't as comfortable on that rubber. So I do think that teams are going to make some adjustments. Obviously, I think he'll still be really strong, but the gap has shortened to him. And if Blaney's there or Logano's there, I mean,
and he even mentioned how important Vegas was because, like, can he win Dega? Sure. Is it likely? Probably not.
And he's not great at Martinsville.
And he's not great at Martinsville. So that was his shot, and he kind of biffed it again. He could easily miss the Champ 4. Larson could easily miss the Champ 4. Logano could easily miss the Champ 4. Hell, Blaney could easily miss the Champ 4.
Yep.
And if you got Byron, Briscoe, Elliott, and Denny there, like there's a very real chance that William Byron's your champion.
Yeah, and I also think so. A guy like Kyle Larson, I mean, he's 35 above the cut line right now. And although I was waxing poetic about how he's improved at super speedways. If he wrecks out in stage 1, is anybody going to be shocked? Like, no. If he wrecks out coming to the finish line at stage 1 to try to win the stage, nobody is going to, bat an eye at that occurrence. And
if you told me Larson, Logano, and one of the other playoff drivers all didn't finish the race, I would not be shocked.
Yeah, exactly. And I went back, and so even looking at last year's playoff Talladega race, I believe there was 4 guys that were currently in the round of 12 that were got caught up in an incident during the race.
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously the field is cut, 33%, but there's still the possibility that the playoff guys who are all likely going to be riding around each other because they're going to be fighting for stage points and all that, they get into each other and they create a massive wreck that takes out half of them.
Yeah, you could even be like, you could literally be doing nothing wrong, and Ty Dillon could just exist, and then your day's done.
Exactly.
All right, so we both added. I'm actually looking at what I have right now. I'm gonna add Logano to our show sheet. I got him at a better number, but he's 12. I think that's fine. Is he better? Yeah, he's 10 at FanDuel. So I added that. I added the 850. Thanks to FanDuel. Yeah. And I'm adding the 12 at Caesars.
Full disclosure, obviously I'm not going to put it on the card because it's not available. Only in Vegas. Well, if you have Circa, I'm not playing outrights for Talladega, but I did play William Byron, Chase Elliott, and Joey Logano championship futures at Circa because they are 14, 16, and 20 respectively. And for me, that's essentially looking at them as, oh shit, if they win Talladega, obviously I have this number locked in, but also if they don't win Talladega, I have the umbrella of them potentially still getting into the championship round at Martinsville.
And Chase Elliott could easily win Martinsville. Like he's really good
because
there.
Elliott is probably the second or third best guy there.
Yeah, Elliott's probably, like, honestly, if I was ranking like who I feel most confident about, which is once again bananas to say, if we were ranking guys I'm most confident to make it to Phoenix the shot based on Talladega and Martinsville, Blaney would be 1, Elliott would be 2. Just crazy,
man. Usually super speedway races, obviously they have the win and you're in stress to them, but I think this one, being in the round of 8, we gave it a lot of shit. We were all pissed that it was in this round, but I'm not gonna lie, this might be the most excited I've been for a super speedway race in quite some time.
Yeah. Any other thoughts? Vegas thoughts? Dega thoughts? Championship thoughts? Any silly season thoughts, anything on the forefront of your noggin as we kind of wrap up here?
I did want to add, lastly, a little stat we got in the media center after Hamlin's win. So he not only won his 60th, joining Kevin Harvick as top 10, but he also became the winningest driver for Toyota, which is bananas. Like, Kyle Busch had a shit ton more wins than Denny prior to I think it was like the 2018 or 2016 season, and all of a sudden Hamlin has skyrocketed past him. The fact that Hamlin has been able to do what he has at this stage of his career is one of the most impressive things I think you could say about the sports in the Gen 7 era in particular.
I mean, just look at what happened to Brad Keselowski, Kyle
Exactly.
Busch. Those are his
Martin
like,
Truex Jr. too.
Martin
Like,
Truex out of NASCAR. Like, those are his like contemporaries, and he's basically the Tom Brady of NASCAR, where he's
that's a
taken it
great
into the next level,
comparison.
and he's just he's keeping the elite play up while the Mahomes is coming in, and
hold on. We can't say he's Tom Brady because he doesn't have a championship.
Fair.
I'll say he's like Larry Fitzgerald because he's still producing at a really good level in his swan song.
I mean, maybe in 5 years we can compare him to Josh Allen, but that's another story for another day. Vegas done. Dega this weekend. We'll be back Saturday night in your feed. Sunday
back to
morning.
back. Quick preview.
Just load up the back. Just load them up. We'll see. Obviously, no practice, just qualifying. We know what to expect. Stack the back. We'll build some lineups. We'll have some fun. We'll get a little crazy. Our newsletter will be there. GPP targets, grid rival targets, cash options, all that good stuff. aoppodcast.substack.com. Go subscribe to that now. It's completely free. We put a lot of hard work into that. So please give us some time and check that out. And we'll be back next week to get you ready for Martinsville, and then Phoenix, and then sayonara for a few months. If there's off-season stuff you guys would like to see, make sure you let us know in the comments. And also, if you are in the Grid Rival contest, make sure you're connecting with us, because I'm trying my damnedest to catch up on somebody. Leapsfrog is back in front. Pull this up. You see that?
Man, I've been hovering in sixth for since I missed that race.
I'm stuck in second, but Leapsfrog, Kurt Wanabe, whoever else is in there, make sure we have your access there. I think there's a chat in there. I'll probably need people's emails, but if you win the league, you get a payout. So let me know. Yep. That's Brian Twining. I'm Kyle Robert. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll talk to you next time.